they often start shooting without really knowing what Act 3 is going to be. And, you know, it's really hard to have a fixed bid and a fixed deadline when the studio and the director haven't even agreed on Act 3 yet.
It's like getting in the car to drive somewhere and you don't know where you're going. You're like, well, do you have enough gas? Well, I don't know. I'm just driving.
When you're creating these huge fluid dynamic simulations like we did on Life of Pi, and they want to change this wave from going that way to this way, or make the rain go completely differently, that's a lot of simulation time just to make the change. And then finally it gets shown to the client, who says something like, why is it even raining in this shot? It's not supposed to be raining in this shot.
So now we go back, we do that work that we think we're supposed to be doing, we present it again, it goes back up through the chain of approvals, decision maker sees it, they give their feedback, then it goes back through the chain, the other direction, and we find out whether or not we're done or if we have to keep going.
And we understand that if you have a vision and you're moving toward that vision, but as long as you're moving in that same direction toward that vision, that's fine. You know, we're going to get there. But what we see often is that, you know, they'll be heading towards a vision, and you might be heading toward that vision for 6 months, and then all of a sudden they turn around and they're heading off in an entirely different direction.
If you're not a visionary, or if you don't have a visionary involved in a project and relies heavily on visual effects, it's not going to succeed.
The studios would not permit a director to shoot for a week or two on set and then say, tear down the set and build a new set. You know, that simply wouldn't be tolerated, because in the live action portion of filmmaking, everything is paid by the hour.
Pretty much everybody who's making everything happen on the movie set, it's by the hour. So the meter's running, the focus is dynamic, because it makes the director and the decision maker, whoever that person is, usually it's the director, has to be there. And there's someone telling them every second what the meter's at. And the creativity just rolls because everybody's so focused and the decisions are being made in real time. But when you remove the decision maker from the process, which is what happens in visual effects, the artist ends up getting to version 15, 16, 20, 30, and the client's never even seen it yet. You know, if the decision maker was wandering amongst the midst of the visual effects artists like they do the movie set, if there's ever a platform where that's needed, it's in visual effects.
It was a Friday that they told us that our paychecks were going to be delayed.
John announces to everyone that we're going to be late on payroll.
Been here long enough to know that that was the last thing John would ever want to do. And that's really when it hit home that you knew how bad it was.
It was like a perfect storm of crap happening all at the same time.
We've come close to hitting a wall in the past, but I think we've come close enough times that there was this sense of things will be okay. And this time was different.
My phone starts ringing at like, I don't know, what, 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. People freaking out because apparently managers are now calling people and telling them that they're being let go.
9 p.m., Sunday night, all of these posts.
Facebook has probably the best information about what's going on.
Just going down the news feed.
You've got people being let go at every single level up the chain, you know, from like custodial staff all the way up to, you know, high-end visual effects supervisors, people who have been with the company, in some cases for like 17 years.
It is completely shock. And then staying up all night, texting, emailing friends, calling friends, not knowing if I'm about to get a phone call. Mentally preparing for that. It's like, it's 9 o'clock, I'm like, how late? Is it going to go until, is it midnight? Do I go to bed at midnight? Do I go to bed at 1 a.m.? Do I stay up until 2?
Monday morning, we had our coordinators running around, and what they would do is they would go to people's desks, see if they were there or not. If they were there, then they had to find out if they were supposed to be there, or if they just hadn't found out that they'd been cut.
And that was just like a punch in the stomach.
Sad to see all the empty seats. Didn't get any work done that day.
And the entire time you're going like, well, why that person? Why this person? Why is that person still here? Why is this person gone? That guy was sitting next to me, and he's gone. Why am I still here?
For me, this workplace and this
my job, it's all about my interaction with other people. And my best friends in my whole life I've met here at Rhythm, and people that, you know, I'm very attached to, you know, and so it's very sad.
I didn't really expect it to hit me as hard as it did, you know. It's still hard to talk about.
I asked him today, I said, John, how are you doing? And he's really, really sad. He's very, very sad that we're in bankruptcy. He's really sad about how many people are going to be affected by this. And I feel sad for that.
You know, we run this company for the people, and then to have hurt them so badly. It's really the antithesis of what we wanted to do.
You know, 2012 was a great year for movies. Hollywood shattered box office records with $10.8 billion in domestic sales. In fact, studio accountants have never had to work harder to prove nothing made a profit.
Life of Pi is the most rewarding experience I've had since I started working in visual effects.
Now, this is going to be a big night for some of you people because, as we all know, winning an Oscar guarantees a long, successful career in the industry.
To have 2 nominations for the company was incredibly exciting and validating, and on the other hand, full of irony. The company was shattering at the same time that all of this recognition was being heaped on us. So the night of the Oscars, what a mess.
This has been a very dramatic juxtaposition of being up for 2 Oscars and declaring bankruptcy at the same time.
And the Oscar goes to Life of Pi.
Having worked on this for many years, I wanted to thank some people, and I thought that was very important.
To our director, Ang Lee, you are inspiration, and you made it an incredible journey for all of us.
Everybody had this little bubble of, hey, look at this, we did it. And then this odd slap in the face.
45 seconds in, I started seeing the red flashing light in the back saying, you got to wrap it up.
And then when they started playing that stupid Jaws theme, it was just insulting enough. I mean, in any other year, that might have been actually kind of funny.
To my children, Christopher, Thomas, Alexander, and Samantha, thank you for inspiring me every day. To my mom and dad, thank you for telling me I could do any crazy career choice I wanted. Finally, I want to thank all the artists who worked on this film for over a year, including Rhythm and Hughes. Sadly, Rhythm and Hughes is suffering severe financial difficulties right now. I urge you all to remember.
Bill gets, like, completely jawsed off stage.
It was emblematic of something that is wrong with this industry.
I don't know how they felt about the protests going on. Maybe they didn't want anything to be said about that. I really don't know what was at play.
If I can get the phrase being sharked into the cultural lexicon, I think that whole experience would have been worth it.
And then to top it off, you've got Claudio, the cinematographer, and Ang Lee not thanking the people who really did about 75% of the movie.
I cannot make this movie without the help of Taiwan. My Indian crew, my Canadian crew, Tom Rothman, Jim Gemnopoulos, Gil Nader, David Womack, David Lee, my agent Karen Sage, and lawyer Ira Streck, and Joe DiPaolo. I have to do that.
Unfortunate is not a strong enough word, but it was. However, look at what it did. It galvanized an entire industry.
Ironically, I think the fact that the mic got cut off has done better to get the message out to the public than had I actually said it on the stage that night. It gelled the entire VFX community into being horrifically pissed off at how they were being treated.
it's a catalyst for the change in this industry that's going to put it in the right direction.
Hi everyone, it's David Begnaud and this is Newsbreaker. Hop on your social media account and you may be seeing green. People are swapping their profile pictures into green squares, you know, like a green screen. It's all in solidarity with the visual effects industry. Teague Christie tweets, "If you see a bunch of VFX artists with green icons on Twitter and Facebook, we're just showing folks what movies look like without us."
We've got some fantastic conversation happening. You've got people who are getting little green screen pins to wear, showing that they at least support the idea of having these discussions, even if we don't necessarily at this point have a clear vision of what the answer is. A lot of articles come out that sort of try to go through and figure out, okay, what went wrong with Rhythm and Hughes? Rhythm and Hughes had everything going for it. They knew what they were doing. They had international facilities. They were making use of tax incentives. They won an Oscar. What the hell happened? And no one has any clear answers. It's sort of like every one of these articles just kind of rehashes the same stuff over and over again.
VFX firms and post houses are like nomads roaming the globe trying to find an economically viable place to be able to work. And it shouldn't be that way because, god damn it, you need us. And when I look into this from the perspective of someone who wants to get into the industry and do VFX work, and I'm sitting back and color correcting my own video or doing a chroma key and thinking about people not being able to be paid for it hurts.
If that trend continues, where we continue to do the impossible and we continue to make things extraordinary in a shorter period of time, and we continue to lose money, the visual effects industry will become extinct.
Every day, things change in this business. It changes like your laptop changes. The technology changes, the economics of the world change.
I've talked to plenty of people who are so affected by this and so hurt and so distressed that they're just going to probably go do something else.
I don't consider going out of business after 25 years of producing what we produced, I don't consider that a failure. Quite the contrary, I consider it a success. And I think that people need to have a little more appreciation for how difficult it was to stay in business as long as we did.
Visual effects and animation is a business. It's show business. And artist or whatever it is that your vocation is here, it's still a business.
The people who are artists will always be artists, and no one can ever take that away from you, right? Nobody can ever say, "Oh, well, we're gonna shut this business down, so you're no longer an artist." No way, I'll always be an artist. You can never take that from me.
It's the process. You have to enjoy what you're doing, and I did. You know, I enjoyed it very much.
Oh, and I need your badge.
And then I'll take the pages that you need to sign. What are you putting in the boxes there?
Want me to take the badges off?